Hello, conscious co-creators, and welcome to this pick a card reading today. Our topic is Wrecking Ball for this reading, and we're going to be getting insight for you on what needs to go. So this is a two-part reading. The first part is available here for you on YouTube, and we're going to be looking at your chosen mantra with the Healing Mantra deck, which you get to choose. We're going to look at direction for the future, what's been happening and where you have been, and then what needs to be released and why. And we'll look into a future alignment for you to aspire to. The second part of this reading is available exclusively for Evolve members. And if you're an Evolve member, you can access and watch the extended part of this reading on your Evolve pages. Silver, gold, and diamond member watch pages are linked down below for you in the description. And if you're interested in finding out more about membership, that link, of course, is also available for you down in the description box. In the exclusive extended second part of this reading, we will be looking into what happens after the release. And we'll get aligned affirmations that you can take with you, as well as final messages from Spirit for you to take on your path forward. So we're going to choose from three different card options for you. And you'll see the top here, and then during your reading, this one, okay, during your reading, we will look at into your mantra and flip these cards over. So for option number 1 for you today, it's resolving anger. Card option number 2, group 2, Demystifying the Darkness. Card option number 3 is Dispelling Sadness. So you can take a moment, ask your intuition, take as much time as you need. If you need to pause the video, you can go ahead and do that. You can choose intuitively with the words on the card, or here you have visuals for each of the card. And once you have made your intuitive selection, you can head down to the description box and click on the timestamp next to the card that you have chosen, and I will see you in your Wrecking Ball reading. Hello, group 1, and welcome to your Wrecking Ball reading. If you are listening to this, you've chosen the first card option here with Resolving Anger. And before we even flip for your mantra, I do feel like everything is coming together. That's what the energy and the message kind of was. Just as I was setting up for clearing for your reading. And the depiction of the card also kind of feels like that. It's like being able to understand perhaps what's inciting that anger, or what's happening that's still in your energy, to be able to kind of release it, in this case, resolve it perhaps. And things start to feel like they're coming together for some reason. So we definitely need more information, but first let's start with your mantra that you have chosen. Okay, conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. Ooh, that is such a sweet energy. I know we're talking about anger and conflict, but what a really great kind of nudge from your spirit team, a reminder from your spirit team, literally. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. As I said, I do feel like there is something that just wants to be resolved for this. It feels like something's coming together as a result of the resolution that's happening. And so whatever it is that you're meant to, you want this one? This one? This one? No. Sorry, I just want to check to make sure we're getting the right cards for your reading. That's a no. It's this one. Okay. as I was saying, I feel like there's something that's going to be resolved. We'll see how that's going to happen as we move through your reading, but then things just feel like they start to come together for you. And your mantra is kind of the perfect reminder. It's like a light bulb energy. It's like a trigger point that you can kind of rely on so that whenever there is any kind of chaotic or conflicting energy and overwhelm energy coming in. Woo, and we're seeing that one. I'm gonna flip it over for you. Popped right out. So anytime you're seeing a conflicting energy or a chaotic energy kind of coming into your sphere, making itself known, this is actually acting as a reminder for you, group one, to take some space, to take a step away. Perhaps what needs to go is you, which is interesting, right? Like, what if we're asking what needs to go? What's a wrecking ball is like kind of a destruction energy. So I love that they gave the title, that title to us for this reading, but what needs to be taken away? In this case, it may be you. You may be faced with something coming up, and we're looking for resolution energy with any kind of resentment or anger. And I think they're telling you, like, you need to go. You need to take some space. Let's see what's connected to this, and we'll get into your tarot. 7, the cracker. Positive energy surrounds you. Love, joy, and good fortune await you. I do feel like right off the bat, they're telling you, group number one, you're the thing that needs to walk away. This is interesting. Obviously, I was not intending, we're looking to what do we need to remove from our lives? It just feels like you're actually taking your power back to resolve something for yourself, and you're doing that by removing yourself. So again, I feel like for starters, we're getting the message that there's some beautiful positivity that is guiding you forward right now, and that anger is almost being kind of like lifted, shifted. You're not engaging the same way in chaotic or conflicting or dramatic type of energy anymore. And instead of trying to remove the chaos from your life, you're removing yourself because you understand that the love, the joy, and the good fortune are waiting for you as you remove yourself, as you go. Wow. I mean, like I said, this is a really good, just general reminder, but if you've chosen this group, I mean, it's very specific, especially any places in your life where you feel that anger bubbling up or that frustration. Notice in certain situations or around certain people, if you're feeling that anger, or if people are just straight up bringing conflicting, dramatic energy, overblown energy, over dramatizing, that kind of vibe, and it just does not feel good to yourself and spirit anymore, then that's the signal, right? It's like a cracker. It's like something going like this. Hey, 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 pay attention, group ones. This is you needing to exit stage left. It feels like a bit of a save yourself energy. Like you can save yourself the time, the effort, the pain. It could be even heartache, heartbreak. They're wanting me to stack these. How do you want me to stack them? The opposite way. I'm just listening as we lay out the cards. They go like this, but they just want me to stack them. You're saving yourself by removing yourself and realizing that's how I'm stepping into joy. So we're first gonna look at kind of where you are, what you're coming from. That's the energy of this top line here. You have the Lover's card. It's a wonderful energy. The 7 of Wands. I love these cards. They're beautifully depicted. The Moon. You've got 2 major arcana there already in this top line. And the Knight of Swords. Okay. There's this feeling of wanting to manifest and be led. There's this feeling of wanting to call something in and getting these ideas and wanting to be able to move them forward. I'm also picking up a bit of a fear, especially with these 2 cards, because a 7 of Wands connected to a moon energy, they're kind of wanting me to kind of read these together a bit here, is trying to move something forward and being a bit defensive sometimes just because you're not too sure necessarily what the future holds. It's really having to trust in your intuition and the unknown based on the experience that you have to be able to move things forward. Maybe you're being met with people in your life who are not in that same frequency, since they're telling you to really move away from that. It looks like with this Lovers card, this is the Law of Attraction card, right? This is a card of choice and trust and soulmate energy. If you're finding that you're really trying your best to manifest what it is you desire, or, it could be anything, right? The relationship you desire, especially with the Lovers card, the relationship you desire, whether that's a friendship or, a family member or a romantic relationship, the job you desire, the energy you want to be in, like the alignment you want to stay in and be in, whatever it is that you've been really working on, stepping into that frequency and moving from wanting to knowing around, that is taking shape. So that's wonderful. The feeling around this card for you, Group 1, is really positive. And I think that's connected to this positive energy that's surrounding you. It's like your spirit team understands very clearly what it is that you are working towards and what it is you're calling in and what it is that you're looking to attract into your life. You may even have been receiving some insights and understandings and some knowledge and some, aha moments, some knowings that have helped you make some moves here in that alignment. However, I feel like there's pushback, and that may just be, there's a certain person who you wish would be more supportive of you, or it could be that it hasn't happened yet, and you're doing your best to kind of show up day in and day out, even though you don't know what's going to happen in the future, and maybe you're a bit exhausted, and you can get a bit snippy here with a Seven of Wands. A Seven of Wands in its high expression is really you stepping into your power, knowing that you can do this, knowing that you're able, knowing that you're on it, right? And you're in this alignment. But the trust in the unknown, the Moon card, it really asks us, like, what is the path forward? Am I moving in the right direction? Can you show me the next step? And I think you've been getting tidbits, but it may have become a bit difficult. So it's like someone's asking you, how's that going? It's like you may be like, ugh, like I don't want to talk about how it's going. I'm doing my best here. I'm just trying my best here. And I know in my heart that I can do this, but like just, you may be a bit, they're saying the word snippy and they're showing that word. So maybe you've been a bit snippy with people. Like I said, this card in a low expression can be a bit defensive. You feel like people are against you, or they just don't understand you, or, it's like they don't get it. So having to trust in your own intuition, even when those around you are maybe not supportive, or they just don't get it, like I said, or even if they are, saying things that are not so great, that are making you angry, this conflict energy that we're talking about connected to this, because I do feel like you are already in attraction mode in this group 1. Like, Spirit wants you to know you've got that positive energy happening. It is happening. You can't see it maybe fully yet, but it is happening. So that's good. And when the conflict arises, we're meant to create some more space for that good energy, not to stay in the negative, making you feel like, oh my God, I'm always having to defend myself. So or like people want to know, where does this lead? Where is this going? What is your goal with this? What's your big picture? Blah, blah, blah. What is it? What are your next steps? What are your strategies? And maybe you have some strategies, but they're like, yeah, but then what? But then what? Is this really worth it? I mean, if anybody's saying that to you in any area of your life, like if you're dating, for instance, and you're like, I'm not sure, I'm just kind of going with the flow, stepping into my true self, making sure I'm boundaried up and I know what it is that I want, and I'm giving it a go, like I'm being open, I'm being curious, and seeing who I can, meet and who's going to be brought into my life. And they're like, well, you sure you want to keep doing that? You've been disappointed before. I just don't want you to feel sad. I just don't, this kind of thing. Maybe you should take a break. You're meant to return to yourself and stay in this frequency. And so whenever you feel that conflict, again, the message right up front, we haven't even pulled these cards yet that are going to help us understand what needs to be released. I feel that you're meant to do your best to stay in alignment. And with the Knight of Swords, you're taking and making moves, taking action from a place of your divine insight. There's something that tells you, yeah, this is the right thing for me to do at this time. This is the step. This is the aha moment that I needed because it's connected to my knowing and my truth. And so I'm going to move forward in this way. Let's see what this card is here. The Tribe. Ooh, okay. Exactly. So the Tribe card is, of course, exactly what it sounds like, right? People around you that are supportive, that do understand you. I feel like if this is not already happening in your life, you are most certainly attracting those people, that person, whoever it is that feels in the highest alignment for you. Because this is on the line, I just feel like it's verification again for you. It's just an awareness that they're wanting you to have, group number one. Like, keep making space for you because the Tribe is present. This can also indicate that you have a massive, amazing spirit team that is working to co-create with you, because the feeling of this is whatever has not been made manifest yet is most certainly on its way to you, or is stirring in spirit. That's what they wanted me to say. Stirring in spirit. So the Tribe may very well be your spirit team. They're like, we're co-creating, let's do this. So whatever area of life this is connecting to for you specifically, group one, you'll want to make sure that you have your spirit tribe set up, right? And that you're working to co-create, because the Tribe energy is supportive energy. So if you're not seeing that in your life, they're telling you you do have it. Let's see what needs to go. I'm very interested in these cards since I'm feeling like part of this energy is you removing yourself. The Page of Wands. Beautiful card. Very inspiring card. The King of Pentacles. Okay. The Hierophant. Interesting. And the Eight of Wands. Okay. Couple of things right away. Number one, if there is a person in your life that does not feel aligned with your tribe anymore, so they don't feel in alignment, this is what they're talking about walking away from. These two cards, I mean, it's a masculine energy for sure. So if there's a masculine energy in your life that you have perhaps relied on, I would say, for advice to do with your body, your health, your home, your business, and they could possibly be connected to spirit as well. Like maybe they channel, or they're a priest, or they have some sort of higher alignment, or definitely like, they hold themselves in high regard. So they may be like a master at something, or the top of the food chain. You know what I mean? Like they have a very high positioning of some sort. It seems that there may be a closure that's happening here for you with that. So that's the first thing. It just feels like you need to ask yourself, are they really serving me anymore? Have they given me what I needed? I don't necessarily feel like it's negative energy, but it just feels like this may be concluding. So it's just like you've learned what you needed to learn from them, and you need to be more independent now and to like trust in yourself, right? To trust in this new kind of energy that wants to come in, and wants to come in quite quickly. This is the feeling, a Page of Wands and an Eight of Wands. This is fire energy. So I feel like there's this wanting to move fast, but we're releasing the need to have to move fast. And that's what speeds everything up for you, because a Page of Wands is a new chapter where you get inspired. And the reason you get inspired is because you're listening to your fire. There's news that comes in a fiery, passionate line. So you must be curious. So if you're sure about what you're manifesting, and sure about the insights that are coming in, and you know that you're working with your tribe, and you're identifying your tribe members appropriately so that you're not stuck in conflict when, it arises, right? People that may need to leave your life, or people that, and again, it doesn't feel super negative, like they've done you wrong. It just kind of feels like, I've learned what I've needed to learn, So it's time for me to step out on my own a bit and start trusting and starting to be more curious about what I'm inspired to do or how I'm inspired to do this. Because what's awaiting you is a very high degree of energy. And I think here, this is a very fast manifestation card. The wanting it to move very fast is what's going to slow it down. They want you to let go of the timing of it, of how fast it's going to come in, and just step into your independent, passionate inspiration and start trusting that. If there's anyone, like sometimes we just learn things, like someone gives you just the right practice to do and that works for you. And so, the default is to go back and to go back and to go back, but sometimes we need a break, or sometimes we've elevated to a point where it's time to release that energy and be open to something else. And that's really what this feels like here for you, group one. I also think that if you're finding that there is conflict, this could be like with your boss or with a friend who you have kind of felt like is a mentor to you, where you look to them for advice over the years and they've given you wonderful advice. But now every time you get off the phone with them or every time you go out with them, you leave feeling a bit conflicted, feeling like, I don't know if that quite resonates with me. That's what this is talking about, right? Like it's time to kind of release the need to go outside yourself and instead continue to trust your intuition. Know things are happening. There's a tribe already in place. More people are going to be attracted because you're creating the space for yourself instead of staying in what might be dissonant energy. The frequency feels dissonant. And if you want things to be really snappy, they're telling you sit in the curiosity and the wonder of it instead of wanting it to be made manifest right away. And that's what's actually going to give you the clarity and speed things up at the same time. So not needing it to happen on a certain timeline or quickly, but being really excited about the fact that it's already happening and that you're elevating. Because I feel like this group is elevating out of a certain frequency. So again, you're going to probably see some of the dissonant energy showing up. The frequency may just feel off when you're around certain people or in certain situations. This could be you're part of a group, right? A part of a church, part of a religious group, part of a group where you do spiritual practices, part of a meditation group. It could be that with the Hierophant. The Hierophant is really a connection to a higher understanding, a purposeful energy, and it has commitment connected to it and sort of structure connected to it. So if there's a structure that has really served you, it doesn't take anything away from the structure and how it served you, but you may be needing to move on from it and explore a bit within yourself. And I think it's good advice. It's, again, if something's like you're going to the masses or you're going to the meditation group or you're going to that practice group or whatever it is, that group, and when you're there, you're kind of like, it's just not resonating the same way for me. Like, I don't know, I'm not feeling the same when I leave. I'm not feeling the same when I'm in there, or, that's what I'm talking about, dissonant vibration, frequency. That's it's meant to be a light bulb. It's meant to be a trigger for you here, even though it's not like, oh my God, we're fighting and there's this huge conflict and massive chaos. Maybe it just shows up as that dissonance. You need to take some space away, some space for yourself, to listen and be curious about what's driving you now, what you're passionate about now, what the next iteration of this is, so that you can get into this power energy, the top frequency of this, and move forward, or at least trust yourself a bit more here without, it just feels like you're not relying so much on other people or what you were previously. Yeah. It feels like independence. You're creating space. You are meant to remove yourself in order to be able to kind of step into your next iteration. Let's see what we have here for the future kind of alignment energy. Oh yeah, this flipped over, the deep knowing card. See this? Okay, this is perfect, right? This is spirits telling you it's time to trust what you know. You don't have to always validate and get it checked with other people. And if there is dissonance in your life somewhere, especially as it concerns your intuition or your knowing, it's time to step away from that and start trusting your own knowing. This is seeming to be like, taking a beat, taking some space, but it's actually going to create this momentum for you because you start trusting the knowing. So the aspiration energy with the deep knowing card in an upright position is about really trusting your intuition, trusting what you know instead of what you feel like you're supposed to do or supposed to think or supposed to feel or supposed to know. What I would say for you, group number one, is make sure that you are tuning in and very conscious to what feels a bit off or where there is conflict or chaos showing up in your life, because that is a distinct sign for you to, instead of becoming defensive, for you to realize, oh, this is the opportunity for me to take some space to elevate. They're trying to show you, the tribe is like trying to show you what's not working anymore. And it's not about identifying and judging. It's about realizing for yourself that it's time for you to move on from this, because everybody has their own path. So it's not like, oh, you vibrate lower than me and they vibrate higher than me. It's not that egoic energy. It's just this knowing, right? It's this understanding, this conscious understanding that it's time, like I've learned, I've gained what I need to gain from this. I'm wiser. And it's a gratitude that will come with that. And it's time for me to step away and kind of move on and allow the fire within to guide you. I love it. It's wonderful energy. If you can be conscious, that's what I would say. Be conscious of when it is that you need to go, that you need to move on, that you need to take some space. So I hope that this serves you, group number one. These are all of the messages I have for part one of this reading. If you're an Evolve member at this point, you're going to want to head down to the description and click on the link next to your particular membership, and that will send you to the page where you can watch the second part of this reading. It's exclusive and extended, and we'll look at what happens after you actually allow yourself to create some space to remove yourself from perhaps these old narratives and allow yourself to kind of step into that passionate energy. What is the result of that? What happens after that? I'll give you some aligned affirmations that you can take with you as you're moving forward. And of course, final messages from Spirit for you. It was an absolute pleasure to read for you today, group number one. Again, I hope that this serves you, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group two, and welcome to your Wrecking Ball reading. If you are listening to this, you've chosen the second card option here, Demystifying the Darkness. So it looks like we are moving from the darkness to the light. We're getting some insight that are helping to pull us out of the darkness, perhaps. It just feels like there's that light at the end of the tunnel type of energy going on for this group, that there's some, again, knowings that are coming in, some light bulbs that are turning on, maybe veils being pulled, realizing that the darkness was like necessary, these kinds of things happening where sometimes the darkness can feel, of course, like you're lost in an abyss or things are never going to get better or nothing's ever going to change. But this feeling feels like we're kind of pulling back the blinders that we may have had on and allowing ourselves to literally elevate or see something from a higher perspective and understand it in a different way. So let's see what your mantra is connected to it that you have chosen. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. This is about loving yourself in the darkness and loving all parts of yourself. So that's also such a nice line to kind of move in. It just, again, feels like the darkness becomes a little less scary for sure for this group. And also the feeling of understanding that there's still love even when it's dark. I love that kind of line into that mantra, where wherever you feel that there is darkness, wherever you feel that part of yourself that maybe, doesn't feel so accepted, so understood, or maybe that you can't necessarily show to other people, or like you're ashamed of or by, something like that. Those are the places where we're directing the love to. And there may be some old narratives, old pieces and parts of you that are being called back for sure with this kind of energy, group number 2, and certain parts of yourself or certain understandings that you may need to release, because that's what we're looking at. What does need to go to be able to come into the light for this group and place the love and siphon the love where it needs to actually go. All right, so let's see what's connected to this, and then we'll get into your tarot energy. Beware. Ooh. Be careful who you trust at this time. Interesting. So there may be they're showing the word loyalty. So some loyalty energy that you're going to be working with here. I also feel like this was placed on you, and that happens. That's not a weird thing, you know, for us human beings, that it happens that we're sort of given identities, or people make judgments of you, and then that's what you believe you are. And here, where you're demystifying the darkness, so if certain conditioned thinking or identifications have been placed upon you that are really not in alignment with your true self, with your light, it looks like they're telling you directly, like, beware of what you trust. It says who you trust. So again, it may be specifically connected to a certain person or a narrative that came from a certain person, like, you know, from your childhood. Or if you're working at a job and your boss is like, you're always late. This is always not the, you know, a negative connotation to you. And then you start identifying yourself and believing that. This is about releasing those kind of, like, not being loyal to them anymore, releasing those kind of narratives, releasing that kind of identity, realizing and taking your power back by loving that part of yourself that may have believed that or thought that that was okay. Oop, those want to come, okay. That thought it was okay for you to just kind of be in that space, operate or exist in that channel, is what I want to say, in that channel. This feels like a bit of a remembering in this group, for sure. Like remembering who you are, remembering your light, remembering the truth. Again, those insights that we were picking up at the start of this. Yeah, I see it. At the start of this reading, we're picking up those insights that are coming in that go like, wait a minute, this isn't necessarily me, or this isn't necessarily bad, right? We identify the shadow lots of times as dark, bad, you know, but maybe that piece of yourself needs to be loved, and you realize that you don't have to be loyal to this old narrative, or you don't have to be loyal to this idea that this part of yourself is negative or it's bad. Let's see what we have going on for you right now. We'll get some more insight. The 10 of Cups. This is like a massive love bubble card. It's the happily ever after card. Whenever you get this card, it's like your heart is overflowing with love, and those around you are feeling that same thing. This is a focus on the people that understand your light and that love you even with your shadow parts, right? Even with the shadow energy. We've got the 8 of Cups, which tells me that you're probably already thinking and or feeling about going on a new adventure that brings more of this into your life, that brings more light into your life, that accepts you as you are for who you are and what you've been through. Even if you were believing old stuff, you know that it's not really serving you anymore when you get an 8 of Cups, that it's time for you to, you can see her walking away almost into the ocean to be cleansed. The Justice card, this one flipped over. This is a major arcana card that is about telling yourself the truth, being on a path of truth, seeking balance and truth, seeking fairness, which is wonderful. Also balancing out the shadow and the light, right? And the Empress, ooh. Creation, they just said. Most certainly creation. Nurturing energy. This is the mother of the major arcana. I feel like you're already working on this, which is nice. That's what I like to see. Where are we at now here? We're already noticing this energy doesn't work, or you're recognizing parts of yourself that you don't want to vilify anymore, if that's the right, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but villainize, thank you, they're correcting, villainize anymore. You don't want to make it bad so that that becomes inherently part of who you are, as if there's something wrong with you or as if you are bad. And here I can see that you're ready to be truthful and to be honest and to care and love yourself and to be in this kind of experience that allows you to love all the parts of yourself, to be in this, I would say happy, yes, energy, but it's a feeling of being emotionally fulfilled to the umpteenth degree. It's an extreme amount of supportive, loving energy. With the Eight of Cups, as I said, this is a manifestation card. And to me, this feels like you're looking to walk to the water, which is a cleansing energy. When you get an Eight of Cups, it's about releasing what is no longer serving you, walking away from the emotional upheaval or disturbances or what's not working anymore in order to be able to claim a new path for yourself, go on a new adventure. Because we have be careful, trust who is loyal to you, or be careful of who you trust at this time or what you trust. I would say that's going to encompass everything. If your mind is telling you things that are not loving, the vibe that you're trying to get in looks to be beautiful, truthful, loving, nurturing. I love this energy. If you're already in this and you're practicing this, well done, group 2. Your shadow is just as beautiful as the parts that you show the world. And it's okay to have things like hidden in the darkness. Everybody has that. Sometimes they are things that are, that we would consider negative, or things that we feel maybe ashamed of, or not the greatest parts of ourselves. But what Spirit is saying is, right now we need you to work with the understanding that those are just as valuable as the parts that are admirable to other people, or the do-gooder parts, or the beautiful parts that we consider and label as good, or like well done, light, success, that kind of energy. We're just labeling them, but really they're all just as valuable as the other. Nothing is more valuable, right? And so this is acceptance. What needs to go is this idea, and we'll see even further, that you can't nurture all aspects of yourself. So the loyalty energy that's coming up with this Beware card really feels like it's ever expanding, right? So you're really noticing and meant to notice where that's still being pressed or placed upon you, and realizing that that's not something that you're meant to be allowing to accompany you, is how they're saying it. So allowing to walk with you, allowing to reside in your mind, right? Taking up space in your head or your energy. That can show up in the form of a relationship with a human being that you have, a person, an environment, a job, a situation. It can also be inside you, right? So we are getting these insights that are going to be extremely nurturing, extremely truthful and fair. It's like Spirit giving you the most loving truth for you to not cling to, but for you to learn how to reside in, learn how to trust. That's what you want to look at, trusting, because they're telling you some of the stuff, some of the people, some of the situations, whatever, it's not something that you're meant to be trusting any longer. Let's see what's connected here. The Treasure Island in the reverse position. This is a lovely card, of course, of overflowing abundance, overflowing treasure, and the movement with the turtle, again, cleansed. When it's reversed, it's about really looking at what it is that you treasure and finding your treasure elsewhere, they're saying. I would say feeling open to finding that treasure elsewhere. So let's just say that you've always been identifying success in a certain way. I have to reach this goal, I have to have this much of this, I have to look this way, or else I am not of value, right? I don't have the value going on. It's not valuable. People don't perceive me as valuable if I'm not this, haven't reached this, etc., etc. What this card wants you to understand is you need to look for your treasure in a different place because that's not serving your emotional self. The truth is going to provide you with the treasure that you're looking for. With the Empress, it really does speak to creating something new. The Empress is super abundant. She's super fertile. You can see she's pictured here pregnant. The truth allows you to create a new life, right? To know where that love actually needs to be sent. She is the mother. You know what mothering does, right? It's when something happens that is negative, there's a nurturing and a remembering that a mother provides a child, hopefully, right? That allows them to remember their light, to remember that this mistake or this, misstep or this failure takes nothing from their true divine light, actually, right? You're still just as valuable even though you made that mistake, even though you made that choice and it wasn't the greatest. You're still as valuable. It doesn't take anything away from your divinity and your light. I think that you're starting to realize this now, and you may have been very well chasing the treasure, and it's all just keeps falling out, is what they're saying. Like, you're chasing the treasure, you have the treasure, and it falls out, and it's because we're looking in the wrong place. We're honoring the wrong things. We're wanting to, it's like chasing egoic things, right? All of those, the greed, the superficial stuff that is really surface based. But when you dig inside, when you look inside the shadow, there's all of these things that are hidden there that are the real you, that need love and attention and light. And we ignore those things because they're not, whatever, status quo. They're going to be judged harshly, whatever the narrative is. Spirit is wanting you to love yourself and walk away from those things that make you feel bad because there's nothing wrong with you. That's what they're basically saying. Those pieces of you are just as valuable. So important. Look for your treasure in a different place. Allow yourself to tell yourself the truth. This is already being worked on in this line, and I love that for you. There is something that you are bringing to life, that you are nurturing to life. It's like mothering your shadow, and it's beautiful, giving the love where it needs to be sent. Let's see what we have as far as what needs to go, what they're going to give us here. The Seven of Wands, which, thank you, Spirit. We will explain in just a second, but lovely. Page of Swords. Okay. The Hermit. The Two of Swords. Well, right away, I feel this energy of needing to figure it out coming in. Like, I need the answers, but look at how heavy. They said that. Look how heavy this sword looks. Like, she's just at the beginning of figuring out how to get this thing up so she can listen. And then the Two of Swords is like an indecision card. It's a card that has us really needing to tap into our inner selves to be able to understand which path to choose, which way to go. And so I'm feeling right away that there needs to be a release of figuring it all out. And you may have some like nervousness around that where you're like, no, I need to know the answer. I need to know the plan. I need to know the insight. I need to know, or I'm not okay. I need to know where this is all headed. And they're saying, actually, no, we need you to be led by your light here instead of relying on your mind, right? Because we need to look for treasure elsewhere now. The Seven of Wands is releasing defensiveness. So the feeling of needing to just defend yourself, to tell people about what it is that you're going to be doing next and having it all figured out. It's this release about who you are, what you're doing, and what it all means. It's this feeling of allowing yourself to just be and to just exist almost, and to be in a flow, to just be in alignment with your truth and not having to know everything, which again is quite uncomfortable sometimes because your mind wants to know. And if you've been working off that energy, thinking it's going to have some sort of a payoff that it hasn't had, then this is going to be a new experience for you. And your shadow may be, in your mind, may be working together to kind of be like, this is not a good idea. You are going to fail. You're going to make a million mistakes. You're going to da-da-da. So really being able to demystify, which is the card you chose, the darkness of that and turn it into some sort of a light or energy, this feeling of waiting and being patient and reconnecting to yourself. The Hermit energy is a card of solitude and reconnection to your own inner light. So you may have needed to rely on certain plans or other people's ideas and opinions. And here they're just kind of saying, we need to reconnect before we can move on. We need to find within ourselves those value points without the external noise that has labeled you or labeled those pieces in a certain way thus far. Like, we need to look within and nurture those spaces and be able to ask for the truth and listen for the truth without having to do it on like a timeline or needing to know. It's about trusting. And if you find that there are outside sources that are coming at you, that you feel like you constantly are having to tell people what's up or what you're doing or what this means or explain yourself, they want you to work on releasing that you're meant to be loyal to your own self first, to trust what it is that you're feeling, trust your own light, that you don't have to explain yourself. Again, these things may be operating in the shadow piece of things. Like, I need to, in order to be able to be valuable, then I need to do this. I need to let people know what my plans are. I need to have something in motion that is status quo or that is acceptable to this person or to this group or whatever. This is not the easiest of feats, but that's why it's like your shadow is going to show you where all your love needs to be sent and all of your loyalty and your love needs to be sent so that you can be curious. Because when you get into a high expression of these cards, what this is you taking your experience, you being willing to start a new way of understanding, of a new way of receiving insight, a new way of receiving knowledge, especially about yourself and maybe your path forward. You allowing yourself to reconnect to your light and start to trust your intuition to make choices as opposed to chasing something or only using your mind. So there's this real, it's acceptance. It feels like acceptance of yourself as a whole being, not leaving any parts out, and understanding that that's where the true treasure lies. I want to see here what it is that we want to aspire to, what more they have. Ooh, okay, this is right. Especially with this card here. Exchanging gifts is about reciprocity, giving and taking, your true gifts and your true talents, not what somebody says you are. When it's in the reverse position, this is about looking at and paying attention to who sees you, who understands you, where it is, again, with the loyalty piece and who it is you're going to trust to accept and receive your gifts and who you want to share them with and who you don't need to share them with because there's no reciprocity coming in. You're walking away from that energy and they're telling you again here, we want to be able to be very conscious about where we give of ourselves, especially that wholeness, right? You may have been denying your true gifts and talents to yourself, and now you're allowing yourself to awaken them. Sometimes the smallest thing can happen, and somebody says something to you based on an action you take, and you really love something, and you go to do it, and somebody calls you out and says, that wasn't good. And you take that in, and you decide that you're no longer good at that, or you're not allowed to do that anymore. And it's just simply a lie. It's just not true. You can do whatever you want. If you really love to dance, then yeah, go and dance. If you really love to write, then write. Nobody has to tell you what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. If you feel a calling, because it's an inherent part of yourself that wants to come out, and you've told yourself it's not allowed, that came from somewhere. And this energy, this wrecking ball energy, is we're kicking all of those thoughts out. Whatever is completely aligned with your own true gifts and talents wants to come to the surface. It aligns with your truth. It aligns with what you truly desire and love. And anything that makes you feel bad about that, out the door, not happening. It doesn't matter what it is. This may take some time is what I want to say, because if it depends on how long you have been in it before we get the veil pulled, right? To go like, wait a minute, let me demystify this. That's what the card is, demystifying the darkness. This feels like I'm not allowed to do it. It needs to be shoved down. It's somewhere else, put in a box, not allowed. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, who's saying it's not allowed? What do you mean it's not allowed? Can't I? I can do it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this light bulb goes off and it's like, wait a minute. I shoved that into the shadow. Now I'm going to give it some love. That's this energy. It's giving yourself permission to share your gifts and talents with people who are capable of, are in alignment to, see them and understand them. And who see you, who acknowledge you. Because the people who have put the narratives in or believe certain things about you may not understand these pieces that want to come out that you want to honor now. And it's okay if they don't understand them. That's why they're telling you, hey, beware of who you trust. You may not want to talk to somebody about you writing that novel or you taking dance lessons, you know what I mean? Because they'll roll their eyes and be like, what is wrong with you? You know, there's nothing wrong with you. You're meant to follow your true light into the shadow and love your shadow. You are going to feel so much more whole as the result of doing this, and you're seeking the treasure where the treasure is meant to be found, right? This is a reclamation of self a bit for this group. Amazing energy and so much love for yourself. I mean, I love this kind of a pull because it reminds you that you're already whole and those pieces never went anywhere. You're just meant to shine a light on them now and give them some love, and then they get illuminated, reborn, you know, and they find their way into the world to just the right people who are going to reciprocate that, who are going to go, wow, you're talented. I never knew this about you. Or to just see you, you know, to understand you and moving into your light to be able to do that and not feeling like you need to defend yourself any longer. You are just kind of like doing you. There's no defense needed. There's no explanation needed. You don't need to know where it's going. You're just doing it because it feels good to you, right? And so I would say overall, this is an interesting energy. And as I said, it may take some time for you to lean into this or to discover for yourself these pieces and parts, but it's basically spirit giving you permission, right? Permission granted. Go ahead and explore that shadow. Show it some love, nurture it a bit. Find that truth within you. Allow yourself to not have to know the plan this time, to not have to prove yourself to anybody. Know that you are inherently valuable already, and that it's time for those gifts to be restored within you. So I hope that this serves you, group number 2. This is the concluding of the first part of this reading, of course. But if you are an Evolve member, this is the point in the reading where you're going to want to head down to the description and click on the link next to your particular Evolve membership, and that will send you to the page where you can watch the second exclusive part of this reading, where we're going to look at what happens after the release. We're going to give you some aligned affirmations that you can take with you, which are very helpful usually, and then final messages from Spirit for the path forward. It was my absolute pleasure to read for you, group 2. This energy feels so freeing. I hope that you are served by this, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3, and welcome to your Wrecking Ball reading. If you're listening to this, you've chosen the third card option, Dispelling Sadness. This feels like a very comforting energy, I will say right off the bat. It feels like we're allowing ourselves to honor the sadness that is currently permeating perhaps in our energy, in our heart, in our mind, and letting it be released as it naturally needs to be released. So it really is a comforting energy that is coming with this card, a nurturing energy. And of course, we're looking at what needs to go in order for you to be able to allow yourself to experience the sadness, perhaps because it's definitely a part of life, but also to release it, to let it go, to welcome in perhaps a higher frequency, a higher vibration, or higher vibrating feelings. So let's start by just taking a look at what your mantra that you've chosen is. I will feel better once I get the rest I need. So interesting, okay? The dispelling may come from allowing yourself a break, allowing yourself a respite, perhaps a vacation, some time off, some time away. I mean, we definitely need much more information about this for sure for you, group 3. Again, we're looking at what it is that needs to go. So obviously, if you've chosen this group, this sadness, you know, I'm sure you want it to be dispelled. And they're pointing you directly to the energy of, they're saying the word relief. I was going to say release, but they're saying the word relief. So there's some relief to be gained by allowing yourself, I think, to feel, because the depiction on this card really allows that to be held in a cup. Normally, cups represent our heart center, right? Our emotions. And so to have it like sort of steaming up, allowing it to release, it feels like it needs to kind of bubble to the surface, almost like a boiling cup of water, pot of water. And so as it begins to boil and come to the surface or come to a boil, we are able to then see the steam happening, allowing it to be released, and probably getting information about not only what caused the sadness or why that sadness needed to be present or why we needed to feel that, but also allowing space for something else to come in. And like I said, seeking a higher vibrating feeling. So let's first take a look at the card that's connected here. Marriage. Wow. Card number 20. You are attracting emotional fulfillment and unconditional love. Oh my goodness. So sadness to fulfillment and love. So now we're getting a clear picture of why the sadness needs to go or why it needs to be felt in the first place. We're getting a bit of information here. Now, when we're talking about marriage, of course, the first thing that is going to come to mind is, you know, partnership, romantic partnership, right? But I would also say that this could come in any form where you're coupling up with another person, or you're in a particular group that you want to be a part of. It could even be the marriage of your ideas with another. It could be something that you're bringing to life that you want to marry together. And it may feel as of late that it's been quite disappointing. Maybe there was some failure energy, or you feel like things are not happening as they're meant to be happening, as fast as they're supposed to. You're wondering when this is gonna show up. Am I even on the right path? Am I attracting what I want? Because we have that sadness coming in. And so for them to tell us directly, the sadness is in place for a reason. There's something to be learned from it. I love that. And that you are in the midst of that, experiencing that emotion while you're attracting emotional love and fulfillment and unconditional love. Excuse me, emotional fulfillment and unconditional love is the actual verbiage of the card. Both, okay? Thank you. The Lover's card just turned over, but we're going to place it there. Yeah, so this is already in motion, which is nice. Sometimes there's things that we feel that we have lost, and in order for us to be able to call in what it is that we truly want or what we're manifesting, we have to feel the sadness. And that's the vibe of this group. It seems like, why do I have to, why do I have to feel sad? Why can't I just get over it and move to the next thing? But in this group, you can see that there is an energy that your emotional body needs to experience it, because you're probably meant to learn something from it. So let's get some more insight and information. This is where we're at. So let's look at the first line, King of Swords, talk about insight and information. The Ten of Pentacles. That's an extreme amount of abundance there. The Seven of Swords. Lovely. And the Lover's card, which flipped over. Lover's card, of course. Marriage, the Lover's card. Something is most certainly connected to your heart center and being stirred up on the divine plane. Even if you're not seeing it now, there's this, it's almost this feeling of a lull that's happening right now, where there is this disappointing energy, this sadness that's happening, a feeling of loss almost. You may have lost a relationship in order to make room for the next one. You may have lost a job, or perhaps, as I said, you're working on something and things are not marrying together the way that you wanted them to. And so it's like really, you know, heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. It's making you feel a bit defeated, perhaps. But what we can see here nicely, a King of Swords and the Seven of Swords being present, with her leaving these two behind and taking these five clearly, this is the highest expression in this suit. So a King of Swords is the master of divine communication, truth, clarity, strategy. He's very intelligent. You can see his sword is pointed directly up and he's receiving information continuously. And he's not going to move forward. He's not going to let it go if it doesn't sit properly in his intuition and make sense to his mind in the same kind of breath. So there is some understanding from the sadness that needs to happen, for sure. There's some enlightenment feeling. That's what it feels like almost. And I do believe it is going to direct you forward, because with the King of Swords, he really just loves a strategy. So if he's looking to put something together, or he's trying to make something happen and something doesn't go well, he's not just going to keep going forward. He's going to stop for a second and go, tell me more about this. What's going on here? Give me the insight that I need. Show me where I need to make improvements, or show me what I need to shift or change, or help me understand this better. So smart, right? And it has like a technological feel as well. So that may be for some of you, they're bringing that up. I'm jumping to the Seven of Swords because it's in the same suit. And a Seven of Swords, it can be a manipulative type of energy when it's in its low expression. What we want to make sure that we're doing for you, group number 3, is to realize what it is that is true for you. This is an authenticity card in a high expression. It really wants you to be expressing yourself in a very truthful way, to be listening to the ideas and checking in with your intuition in order to be able to maybe do something in a different way, create something in a different way, attract something in a different way. So it may be a bit like unconventional what comes through, or what you've been kind of thinking about or channeling or wanting, but all of that feels very valid. The last thing you want to do when you have a Seven of Swords present is let somebody else take over your mind. Let someone else manipulate what your thoughts are. Let somebody else kind of trick you into thinking, this isn't possible for me. I'm going to have to stay in this sadness. I'm going to have to, I made this mistake, so it's over and my possibilities are lost. This combo of these two swords tells me, no, that's not the case at all. Right now, you actually have access to an inventive or creative, unconventional way to do something that is authentic to you specifically. Whatever it is that you're attracting in, because you are attracting it in, there is something different about it. And even though it feels like, sometimes it feels like if you're doing something different, or if you feel different, or it's not the same conventional way everybody would do it or go about it or attract it, right? Or be fulfilled by it, your way may be different, and that is okay. They want you to know that that is okay, that this is not the end. The sadness is not the end. You may need to rest your mind if you're caught up in a bunch of different narratives and really just beating yourself up over something, or feeling like you're, they're saying the word worthless. So feeling like you're worthless, I suppose, is how Spirit's giving it, but feeling like you're, yes, less than worthy, that you're doubting yourself, that you're future projecting and going, this is never going to work out. I don't see how it's going to work out. The truth is, I'm no good at this, or whatever, right? or nobody's ever going to want me if you're looking for love, which for some of you is definitely the case, right? Nobody's ever going to like the way I am, what I think, and I'm never going to find a partner. If you're saying these things, the need for rest, especially in the mind, will be necessary, because your mind may be playing tricks on you, and we don't want to be believing that. In fact, the King of Swords will come in and go like, absolutely not, that's not the truth. Let's take a nap. Let's not think about this for the rest of the day. Let's go focus on something else. So the rest may be needed, and it's telling you specifically you're going to feel better once you get the rest you need. So for right now, I would say it's very important for you to honor that and be very conscious of when your mind is overrun or tired, when your body is overrun or tired, or you feel like your emotions are just like kind of being carried away, taking you over. That is a big indicator, any of those things, that you need to rest, okay? The Ten of Pentacles is a card of extreme abundance. This is like fulfillment, and not just like your average fulfillment. It's like massive prosperity and abundance. So the insights that you're gaining right now, whatever it is you're working on manifesting, is going to provide you, or attracting, is going to provide you with emotional fulfillment and unconditional love. And here, you're in a beautiful, or you have at least the ability to connect to and align with a beautiful, abundant alignment, high degree of alignment here. You can see she's got these pentacles. She's calling more into herself. She is in alignment for abundance. So if you're tired, it's gonna feel heavier. It's gonna feel definitely not in alignment and not as easy to call this in. The Lovers card is the Law of Attraction card. So to have the marriage with the lovers and this word being used, you are attracting that word. You can tell that something's already going on. Something's already in it's already in the works, right? It's already happening in the divine realm. And that's probably because you've been clear in some space about what it is you truly do desire. So whatever the setback is that is creating this sadness or disappointment energy or failure energy, okay, or loss energy, it doesn't have to put you out of alignment unless you allow it to, right, is the key here. And that's why they're saying if this Seven of Swords starts happening in a low expression, so manipulation, you're believing these lies about yourself or your project or, your worth, that's the time when you need to rest, because this is in full alignment. When you get a Lover's card, it's about choosing the alignment you want to attract in on. And that's what brings a soulmate energy to you. And because you have the Ten of Pentacles here, you can see this is her. So pretend this is you. You've already got what it is that you need, and you're open for more to come your way. It's like receiving more abundance, alignment, etc. So with the Lover's card, you do have to choose to understand and honor your own heart and what it wants and needs. And I'm suspecting that for you, the sadness will turn to this emotional fulfillment and unconditional love, wherever that's coming from. It could be from a family member, could be from a mentor, could be from your own self. Let's see what we have here. Aha! And this is a 1910, so we're going to directly connect it back to that 10 of Pentacles. You see what they're doing here. Flexible, upright. Spirit is basically telling you, you cannot be rigid here. This is not the time to the rigidity would be the King of Swords in a low expression, right? Where he's like, this is how it has to be. This is the plan and we're sticking to it and there's no other way. It's my way or the highway. He becomes a know-it-all. He becomes egocentric, right? And that's the opposite of the energy that they're telling you the abundance is connected to. So flexibility is required. If you're having a day, then have the day. Don't push yourself. Don't start believing all the crap in your head. It's not necessary. You actually are meant to be flexible and malleable with how this is coming through and what it is that you truly do desire, because it's already in the works in the unseen, right? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not being orchestrated. And so when we start doubting ourselves and getting into those narratives, of course it makes the sadness more palpable, as if this is your whole world. But Spirit's telling you, please be flexible, be kind to yourself. Maybe you meant to do this today, but you're having a day, so you're not going to be doing that today. And that's okay. It's all right. They're saying it's okay. We don't need to be strict at this time. And this is what we're working with now. So let's see what we have that we want to let go. What needs to be let go of, what needs to go. Okay. The Queen of Cups. Interesting. The Page of Pentacles. Right under that 10. Okay. The Six of Pentacles. And the Two of Swords. This energy as a whole to me is saying the denial and the doubting of things needs to be gone. We need to get that out of our heads, get it out of our sphere, get it out of our life. The doubting that there is something that is coming in for you, that you are manifesting something, that like whatever you're working on is coming to fruition, like all the work you've done it's worth nothing. You know, that kind of energy, like everything I've done, or I'll never find someone, or these kind of narratives, because it just feels like we're doubting every step of this line. That's what it feels like to me. Like you're doubting that you deserve the compassion and understanding and the love that you do deserve. You're doubting that there is a new chapter for you, that you're gonna have new steps, or that you're going to be able to be abundant. You're doubting that the universe is gonna provide for you based on what it is that you are showing up for. You're doubting that you're gonna be able to make the right decisions. You're doubting. And Spirit's like, we just need you to not doubt that you are attracting it. So that's probably why they like hammered us with that first. Give it to them first. Yes, I know that it feels maybe heavy right now, or a little bit low frequency right now, or you're experiencing some sadness, because that's part of the human experience when things don't go exactly as our mind really wants them to go, or as planned. So you may be going like, I thought I would have been here by now. Why isn't this happening for me? This feels like it's taking forever. That's human of you. It doesn't mean that you should doubt that the universe is conspiring for you, not against you. So a Queen of Cups is a beautiful leader. She really allows herself to take care of herself, to be in a state of love and compassion and empathy for her own self, to give herself a break. You know what I mean? Like when she's having a difficult time, or she's going through an emotional experience, this is a card of emotion, is the only cup you have, right? Cups are around emotion. Then she lets herself feel. She doesn't beat herself up. So if you are like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get through this. This is gonna be the way it is forever. They're like, no, you just need to love yourself, honey. You just need a little rest. It's like talking to yourself like that, like your best, most caring friend would. That's how they want you to talk to yourself, as opposed to feeling undeserving of the love. She doesn't ever, in a high expression, believe that she's undeserving of love or understanding, and she makes sure to give that to herself first. A Page of Pentacles is about listening for the next step, being very curious about where this may be leading you, asking what it is that you can do to make an investment in yourself. So if you're like, nothing's moving, doubting that this is a new chapter for you, especially because you have this 10 here and it's kind of coupled up here in this line, doubting that the abundance is available to you and it's coming in. Like she's just starting to see it. These pentacles were up in the universe somewhere. She could not see it, but she was calling them in. If you're doubting that, they're asking you to stop doubting this new chapter and instead to be curious, right? The Six of Pentacles is a card of karma and reciprocity. It says when you act in alignment with what it is you truly desire, yes, and know that you are attracting it despite having a sad time or a bad day or whatever it may be, that the universe responds in kind. This is a card of karma and gift giving. It's generosity from the universe. So they're like, don't doubt us. We're working on it. You know, please stop doubting that everything that you are doing, involved in, that you are attracting, that you are choosing for yourself, that is in alignment, is not going to attract this. Of course it is. And the Two of Swords is a card of like indecision, right? So when you're in a low expression, you get caught up in your mind, you can't make a decision. And that's another reason why they're saying for right now, make sure that when you get overrun in your emotions, or, feeling like it's not going to work out, or you can't make a choice and your head is, confused, it's really time for you to take a break, to take a step back, to rest. What needs to go is the doubt. If I had to sum this up, the feeling of this is like Spirit's like, hey, we're working on your behalf. Can you please be a little bit flexible and also honor yourself and your emotions? Because this is leading somewhere beautiful, but you're just a human being. So you've got to experience some sadness sometimes and some loss sometimes and things not working out. We're trying to teach you a lesson, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you're in the middle of learning a lesson, which we all are, little ones, big ones, then part of it may include feeling kind of disappointed. Or if you make a mistake and that was the only way to get to the solution, it has to happen. And so they don't want you leaning into doubt. What needs to go is the DOUBT, doubt. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt the universe. It's already happening. So there's no need to doubt it. And once it comes into fruition, like she's seeing these pentacles now, but like I said, they were in the ethers. She could not see them, but she was not doubting them. She was attracting them in. And she knew eventually I'm going to be able to see this here. I'm going to feel emotionally fulfilled, and I'm going to experience unconditional love. I'm going to receive what it is that I am choosing to attract at this time. It's hard. This energy is a bit hard because sadness and doubt, they're like, it feels like they're married together, right? Like when you're doubting yourself, you start to feel sad. And so that's why it's really important to remember this mantra that you've chosen. I will feel better once I get the rest I need. That's going to be part of the nurturing for yourself that needs to happen. All parts of yourself is what I would just be very conscious of. And if you're mean or rigid to yourself, it's just going to feel, again, like you're doubting yourself. And Spirit's like, no. This is a new chapter. You're taking care of yourself. Things are going to be coming in, and you're going to understand what to choose. If you can stop trying to like box things in and have the answer now. If you're tired, rest. If you're tired, rest. You're already in this alignment. So the goal for you, group number 3, is to be staying in this alignment in the highest frequency possible, even as you are dispelling the emotions that may be lower frequency. It has to happen. We all experience those low emotions. And the sooner that you can give your emotional body what you need, which, tune into that Queen of Cups in a high expression, you notice, I'm feeling this. Instead of pushing and being rigid, be flexible and kind to yourself. When you wake up, you just might find the answer. You just might have the insight. You just might realize, oh, wait a minute. No. So what I'm going to choose now is in the most loving expression for myself. That's really the bottom line. You don't doubt that you can give yourself what you need and that the universe is going to respond in that space. You always make choices that are in your highest divine alignment and in connection with what it is that you truly do desire and what your heart truly does want. That's your whole goal. So if it feels a bit murky, if it feels a bit cluttered, if it feels a bit overwhelming, then your only goal is to ask yourself, how can I rest? How can I replenish? How can I nourish? How can I take care of myself? And it may not be a long thing. It may be like, go for a walk, drink a cup of tea, maybe a very small thing, but that should be your first priority so that you can come back into this alignment and relieve yourself. It's like dispel the sadness and dispel the doubt. It needs to go. Let's see what we have here. This card in this positioning I've labeled future alignment to aspire to. You have the new life card. Upright. You see her cracking right out of that egg. She's waking up feeling so rested and ready to be up on her pedestal and attracting what it is she desires. A new beginning. It's like a reinvention almost. There's this feeling of like rejuvenated energy, ready to explore a new path, a new life even. You're getting the new life card. It's like the world awaits you. But first, we must be able to allow ourselves to feel and to acknowledge our feelings. If you shove the sadness down and you don't allow yourself to feel and rest and listen and be in alignment and make these choices, like this law of attraction working for you, it may feel, number one, a whole lot easier to doubt yourself and doubt the universe, but also just harder, harder to get to this. We're not doing hard, we're doing flexible in this group. We're doing relaxation, restoration, compassion, understanding, connection, reciprocity, alignment, attraction, manifestation. We're doing new life vibes. That's what we're aspiring to welcome in this new path because it's already happening. So allow yourself to move through this emotional time with the utmost kindness and compassion. Keep your channel open. Don't believe any lies that your mind is telling you, okay? Might just need a rest. We all have those, but your mind just might need a rest, and that's okay. Be nice to yourself. If you're saying all kinds of mean stuff, be flexible. Hey, sometimes I'll just go, hey, I didn't mean it. I take it back. This is what I meant instead. Correct yourself whenever you can. Be conscientious, be conscious. And know that you are fully attracting in this beautiful energy of fulfillment and love. I hope that this serves you, group number 3. This is all I have for the first part of this reading for you. If you are an Evolve member, at this point in the reading, you're going to want to head down to the description box and click on the link next to your particular membership, and that will send you to the page where you can watch the second exclusive extended part of this reading, where we're going to see what happens after this release of doubt and getting the rest that you need. I'm going to give you some affirmations that you can take with you, and we'll get final messages, of course, from Spirit for you as you walk into this new life energy. So once again, I hope that this served you. It was my absolute pleasure to read for you, group 3, and I will see you in the next reading.